Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Orphan Barrel 18-year-old bourbon. They've called it Indigo's Hour, and of course it comes with the beautiful artwork that we know and love from all of these Orphan Barrel products. The thing is, this is cut down to 90 proof or 45% ABV. Again, 18 years old, that's a great age statement, but with such a low proof and at the price point of $225 SRP, we're kind of set up on paper here to wonder whether or not this product is really going to be worth the money, or if it's going to be another example of something that just has too much water added to it. It's a complaint that's lobbed at Weller 12 often. It's also, often cited when we're talking about other Orphan Barrel products. And a lot of those products, the Rhetorics, the Barter Houses, all of those things, nowadays we look at those with rose-colored glasses, and I think a lot of that has to do with the distilleries that they may have been sourcing from at that time, the profiles of those whiskeys, and at that point we're kind of willing to overlook those lower proofs in favor of the age statements and the profiles that were given from those whiskeys. I have to wonder, again, on paper, before I do this review, is this going to be another case of that where we look in 5 years, maybe we're complaining right now, but in 5 years we look back and go, wow, I really loved that Indigo's Hour. I wish I had more of them, and now they're $500 on secondary? Or is this something that right now is going to wow people and it's going to kind of defy expectations, even with those kind of wonky stats that we've come to, I guess, expect from a lot of these Orphan Barrel products? Well, we're going to find out right now, and I think the most important thing to mention is the source of this bourbon. So they kind of do this thing on the label and on the press release and the website and everything, where they talk about where it's distilled, where it's aged, and where it's bottled, right? And I think that's kind of like the OKI thing, right? Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. They did something a little bit similar with the states there. Well, this product is in that ballpark as well. What they're doing is saying that this was distilled in Indiana, aged in Kentucky, and bottled in Tennessee. A lot of folks, when they see these high age statements from Orphan Barrel, they think of Copper Tongue. They think that this is probably going to be sourced from George Dickel, and then they avoid it like the plague, which, I'm guilty of that as well. But here they're saying that this is purely distilled in Indiana, and at 18 years of age, we have to imagine that that's coming from MGP. I'm not sure exactly which bourbon mash bill this is. 21% rye, 36% rye, combination. No idea on that front. They then say it's aged in Kentucky and then bottled again in Tennessee, Tullahoma, where Orphan Barrel is based. So if this truly is 18-year-old MGP bourbon with the whole tirade and shtick I just gave you over the last couple of minutes, this is just interesting. The proof, the age, the source, the price point, which is pretty darn high. Let's check it out on the nose now and see what we get. Here we go. All right, so the nose, it smells pretty great. I mean, the first thing that stands out to me is just how fruity this whiskey is. There are all sorts of tropical fruit notes, of just, fruit notes that kind of run the gamut. To me, I get ginger, I get lemon, I get these pear notes, I get kind of like a little bit of a cinnamon sugar thing going on. Even some apple notes in the glass as well. But it's all kind of underpinned by this just tinge of herbal earthiness. And this is something that I kind of recognize on, let's say, like older Belle Meade cask strengths before they went to the 108.3 proofs. They had a lot of those variable proof bottlings that were coming out. In particular, I had a 113.6 bottling, and I don't know if there were multiple batches with that proof or not, but the 113.6 is the one that I had, and this has some elements on the nose that remind me of that 113.6, which is a little bit more of that like more old school MGP profile. Not fully old school, not like the Smooth Ambler Old Scout days and some of those things, but still not quite like the modern day MGP profile that we know. This has, again, some of that earthy, like herbal thing underpinning just this insane variety of fruit notes. And I think I would also call out like a tobacco note on the nose here. So some tobacco as well. And also just kind of a, kind of just like a generic, this is going to sound silly, but a generic bourbon sweetness, which is a combination of like a vanilla thing and a caramel thing. You get the picture. So all in all, while this is 90 proof, and while on paper, given the history that I have and many of us have with these Orphan Barrel products, I was scared, but the nose makes me much more reassured. I think this smells delightful. It's not super intense, but it's about as intense as you would imagine a 90 proof product to be, and it has great concentration of flavor or aroma, if you want to say that, on the nose. So let's get it on the palate now. Cheers. Super soft. Oh yeah. Yeah, not much going on there. Crap. Yeah, this is kind of like this palate reminds me of a whiskey, and I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but the Traveler whiskey from Sazerac, Buffalo Trace, Harlan Wheatley, Chris Stapleton, that whole thing. It's like, where's the damn flavor on the whiskey? Yeah, the palate is just, what a bummer. What a bummer. Because the nose on this whiskey is pretty good. So fruity, just so many like layers, so much complexity, I feel like, on the nose, and you can really kind of overanalyze it to some degree, I think. And hell, I mean, at 18 years of age, with the price point and everything like that, I want to be able to overanalyze the whiskey. I want it to be something I can sit with for a while. And I think you can do that on the nose, but on the palate, yeah, I just don't think it had it. One other thing I'm going to call out on the nose now, as I go back into the glass, I've acclimated to the whiskey just a bit more now. Little golden raisin kind of note, and also some leather is starting to, kind of present itself. And I think that is helping to demonstrate the whiskey's age, because while this is an 18-year-old product, I'm not feeling like, upon first nosing and first sip, I'm not feeling that level of age from this whiskey. Maybe there's too much water added. Maybe that's part of the reason. Or maybe it's just a really soft, lighter profile for this age. I'm not quite sure, but I guess after the first sip, the age comes through just a little bit more with that kind of a leather note. So for what that's worth, second sip now, although at this point I don't have high hopes for this one. Man, yeah, it's just completely and utterly neutered by the proof that they've chosen to bottle this at. 90 proof. What a shame to ruin what I would imagine would be... Ruin is that's a strong word. I'm going to stick with it, but it might be a strong word. But to ruin what I would imagine are probably excellent barrels of 18-year-old bourbon. You don't see that every day. You especially don't see that every day coming from MGP. And to cut this down to 90 and present it like this, I think this does a disservice to the whiskey itself. I think it keeps up the reputation of this Orphan Barrel line, that they continue to neuter products down to these proof points that just... I mean, who does this satisfy? Like, that's my question. I would consider myself a whiskey enthusiast. Some people might consider themselves to be connoisseurs, right? I don't know what that means exactly to you, or novices. But at this price point, $225, you're not going to find a lot of like first-time whiskey drinkers picking this bottle up, unless it's maybe for like a gift for a boss or something. And even then, it's a little on the pricier side. So you're appealing to a market of folks who are probably somewhat seasoned whiskey drinkers. And again, I ask the question, who is this for? Because those folks, while they're going to appreciate the nose on this product, I think a lot of them, I like it. I like the nose. And actually the finish is pretty good in terms of flavor hanging around. It's just like the palate is non-existent. But again, who is this for? If I pick this up as a consumer at $225, walking out the door $240 after tax, whatever, and I get this flavor profile, I'm going to be pissed off. Bottle this at 100. Bottled and bond. Bottle this at the classic 107. I don't know what the cast strength was. Maybe this is a low cast strength product. We've seen some older MGPs coming out around 99 proof, 97 proof, whatever. Maybe that's the case. Then bottle this at cast strength, because this does a disservice to the consumer, to the whiskey, to everybody involved. And it doesn't help the reputation of this line, which again, we look rose-colored glasses. We look back to those rhetorics. I do too. I wish I would have bought a bunch of those rhetorics back in the day. the forged oaks, the barter houses, whatever, all those, the gifted horses, you know. But those profiles were dusty. They had dusty profiles. That's stuff that we can't get today. This profile, while it is slightly more of an old school MGP profile, as I mentioned, they relate, you know, this relates to those old Bellmead cast strengths of yesteryear, whatever. It's not enough to justify the proof. And I don't think this is a product that we're going to look back on in 5 to 8 years and say, wow, I wish I would have bought more of those Indigo's Hour, right? Great label artwork, great age statement. What the hell's going on with the proof and the profile? I mean, it's not like every product is bottled at the same proof. They do have some variable proofs, I think, amongst these Orphan barrel releases. So if there is the freedom to choose a proof that's not 90, choose a proof that's not 90. Let's go a little higher with this. I know I'm ranting. I'm not even going to do another sip, guys. Cheers. I will see you next time here on Drums and Drams.